In this video, we are going to use all that we learned in the previous videos to actually import the data directly from the Contoso database into Power Query so we can start creating the relationships between tables and create our dashboard in Power BI. So in the previous lessons, we learned how to install the database and SQL Server and SQL Server Management Studio. We learned how to create the scripts for importing the right data, and we also developed the dashboard plan and the dashboard background. So we developed all this in the previous lessons. Please check out those lessons. And from now, we're going to put everything together to actually import the data and create our Power BI sales dashboard. Okay, and in Power BI now, I'm going to import data, get data, but this time, instead of using an Excel workbook in my computer or a text or CSV file in my computer, I'm going to import the data directly from the database I installed in the computer for simulation. And in this case, I'm going to use SQL Server. Okay, now I have to inform the server. And in this case, the server is my computer, so I have to give it my computer's name, EMSP. And the database I'm going to retrieve data from is Contoso Retail, TW. So I'm just going to copy and paste in here, and I'm going to use the import mode. We have the import mode and the direct query mode. And using the import mode, the tables that you want to retrieve from the database, they are going to get loaded into Power Query, and then everything will run between Power Query and Power BI. So whenever you interact with any of the visuals in your dashboard, so the data will be updated based on the tables stored in Power Query, and they will be saved in your Power BI file. But on the other hand, if you use the direct query, every time you interact with one of your visuals, one of your slicers in your dashboard, so the data is coming all the way from real time from your database through Power Query to Power BI. So it makes sense to have direct query when your data set is really massive and you don't want to have it all installed, all stored in your Power BI files. So instead of storing this data in your Power BI files, you will be using data retrieved directly from the database. The point is, this is a longer way, so it could make your dashboard take a little longer to respond to your interactions. On the other hand, if you have the tables loaded and imported into Power Query, this tends to be a little faster. Well, if your data set is not long, maybe it doesn't really make a lot of difference, but with large data sets, you could see a difference in the response time, okay? In this case, I will practice importing the data into Power Query. I'll click OK. And I just noticed a little problem, and probably it's going to return me an error. There you go. And I'm going to click Edit. I know why this happened. It's because there's a typo and the name, it was to be BSMP instead of BMSP. Let's try again. There you go. But now I was returned all of the tables. Again, this was not what I expected. And let's see what happened. Let me try again. Okay, that's the problem. I forgot to insert the SQL script right here, because I'm telling Power Query, hey, Power Query, this is my server, which is actually my computer, and this is the database from which I'm going to retrieve the data. I'm going to use the import mode, which means I wanted to load the data into Power Query, but also I have to inform what is the code, what is the script for retrieving only the data I want. And I had forgotten to inform this, and I will use the scripts I developed in the last video. Let me import the first table, which is the FactSales, and I'm going to paste it, and let's click OK. And there you go. This is the table I wanted to import. I'm going to click Transform Data, and Power Query Editor will open up. And let me call this table FSales. Okay, this is going to be my fact table. And this column is actually supposed to be decimals. Sales quantity could be whole numbers, okay. For store key and product key, I'm not going to run any kind of calculation with these numbers, so I'm going to have both. They are only columns for interaction and relationship with other tables. So I'm going to mark them. Data type, I'm going to make it text. Okay, there you go. Now I'm going to import the second table, new source, in the home tab, new source, SQL Server. And well, I don't have to do it all again, right? I don't have to do it all again. So I'm going to do it differently. I'm just going to right click and duplicate this query. And you already know what duplicating means from the Power Query Foundations course. And if you click the source step, you will see that the query that I informed with a SQL script is right here. Select sales amount, and well, we have some small pieces of code in the middle, mostly to inform where there is a space, and we don't really need those spaces. But actually, I'm not going to mess with this current script. I'm just going to delete it. And between these quotation marks, I'm going to insert the new query, the new script, SQL script, which is the second table. It's the DimStore table. Copy, and I will paste it between the quotation marks. There you go. And now I will click at the end and press enter. But now I have to edit the permissions. I'll click edit permission and run. There you go. Now the new table is loaded and I didn't have to log in. It was way easier than starting from scratch. Now I'm going to call this DStores. Okay, now as I changed the source, so the second step doesn't make sense anymore. So I will remove the second step, and we learned why this happens in the Power Query course. Okay, please, if you don't understand what we're doing here, please refer back to our Power Query playlist. And now the first column is supposed to be a key column. So I'm going to make it text. This is text, store key, and manager key. These are supposed to be text 2. Okay, now let's do it again. Let's duplicate it, and I will delete the second step. And in the source step, I'm going to remove this script and get the third script, paste it, click at the end and press enter. Now edit permissions, run, and there you go. The geography key column will be text. This is text. This is text. Okay, let me rename it as DRegion regions. And again, duplicate. Now I'll remove the last step. In the source step, I will remove the script between quotation marks. Now the second to last script. There you go, Control V, edit permission, run. There you go. This is a key column, so I want it as text. Full name is text, and I'm going to rename it as DEmployees. And again, duplicate, remove the last step, remove the query, but I'll leave the quotation marks. And now I'm going to use the last script. Control V, edit permission, run, and product is supposed to be text, and the product key is supposed to be text 2. I'm going to rename it as DProducts. There you go. All the tables are perfectly set up in Power Query. Now let's move it into Power BI. I will have to run. It's going to ask me to run each of the queries again for some reason. I'm just going to run them. There you go. But now, if you click the model view, you will see that the tables were automatically related by Power BI. Power BI is smart enough to find a relationship between tables, but for teaching purposes, I'm going to delete all of these relationships, and I'm going to do it manually so we can discuss them. Okay, delete and delete. Okay, now I'm going to leave the dimension tables on top and the fact table down below. I like to do it so you can kind of see the data flow, especially when you're working with slicers. So having the dimension tables on top give you a better sense of the data flows. So now we will create relationships between tables using the fields that they have in common. And I'm not going to discuss in this lesson the types of relationships, one to many, many to one. I'm just going to show you. And if you want to know more about it, so please let me know in the comments. And I'm going to link between the DRegion table and FactSales table. They have, well, actually they don't have a field in common. DRegions, you have geography key, but there's no geography key in the FactSales table. So let's keep it, and we're going to use it later. Now let's see the DStores table. Well, actually the DStores table, it has a store key, and FactSales has a store key. I'm going to pull it from the dimension table store key to the fact table store key. And now you can confirm that actually you are linking store key with store key. It's going to be a relationship that is, the cardinality is one to many, one on top and many down below. Remember, in the Power BI course, in the Power Query Foundations course, I told you that normally each record cannot be repeated in a dimension table, but it can be repeated in the fact table. So in this case, that's why this one on top is one and this one down below is many, because each record can appear only once on top and multiple times down below. So this is why it's one to many, and I'm just giving you an overall idea of what this one to many actually means. And save. I'll do the same with the product key in the DProducts table and product key in the FactSales table. It's one to many. That's right. Well, there's an error here. No, it's not right. Look, I created an incorrect relationship. For some reason, I pulled product key, the product key column, into sales amount column. It's not right. It was supposed to be product key with product key. So now I get the chance to correct it. I'll just click product key. Now it's right. Product key is related to product key. It's right. Save. And now the employees. Well, I don't have a key and the fact tables directly to employees. So let's make a few tweaks. And first off, I have geography key in this table and geography key in this table. In this case, I will click geography key and drag it on geography key. And you see that it's geography key to geography key. All right, okay. In this case, the DRegions table works as a dimension table related to the DStores table. And now you could have the same region appearing more than once in the DStores table. Now the DStores table is a fact table compared to the DRegions, and DRegions is a dimension table compared to the DStores table. All right, and now the employees are related to the stores. And in this case, I'm going to pull manager key over manager key. Okay, so the same way here. In this case, DEmployees works as a dimension table to DStores and DStores as a fact table to DEmployees. So now I have a pretty decent data model, and now I'm good to start creating my visuals, creating my dashboard. But before I do that, I have to create the two measures that I'm going to need in this model. And one of the last lessons when we planned out our dashboard, we set up that we only needed two measures. So in this case, I'll create these measures in the FactSales, and I will right click and select new measure. And this first measure is going to be total sales amount, and it's going to be a sum of every in the FactSales table. It's going to be the sum of all sales amount in each sale. Okay, and now I'll create a new measure, and this is going to be total sales quantity. It's going to be the sum in in the F sales table the sum of the sales quantity. So of course we could create very complex measures, but for this playlist, we don't want to spend a lot of time on DAX measures. So we'll only use these two according to the plan we made. And now we can start working on our visuals. In this case, I have a bar chart right here, and I will drag to this bar chart. I'm gonna drag the sales amount, and I want to split the sales amount by sales regions. So I will drag sales territory name to the same visual, and now I have the visual that I planned in the previous lessons. Okay, so we are going to continue in the next lessons. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this content with your friends, leave your comments and questions below, and see you in the next lesson.